Hi, this is new to me, probably not new to many people out there, but I just learned about it a few days ago and I thought it was worth making a video. The World Set Free, I'm going to skip around, the link will be below. The World Set Free, a novel written in 1913 and published in 1914 by H.G. Wells, is a book based on a prediction of nuclear weapons. The novel begins, the history of mankind is the history of the attainment of, wait for it, external power. And that's what we've been talking about lately, right? Therein lies the problem. So when your main focus is the attainment of external power, you neglect the internal power, which keeps us all off balance, which keeps us going boom, over and over and over and round and round and round we go. Scientists of the time were well aware that the slow natural radioactive decay of elements like radium continues for thousands of years, and that while the rate of energy release is negligible, the total amount released is huge. Wells used this as a basis for a story in his fiction. Wells' novel may even have influenced the development of nuclear weapons, as the physicist Leo the Lion read the book in 1932, the same year the neutron was discovered. In 1933, Leo the Lion conceived the idea of neutron chain reaction and filed for patents on 1934. Isn't that fun? So like we were talking about, this is a TV show, a book, a movie, whatever you want to call it. And, you know, H.G. Wells, whether he was told this stuff or whether he tapped into his higher spirit, his intuition, and learned this on his own, who knows, doesn't matter. But, I mean, here's a guy who is responsible for, like, the most famous and well-known alien invasion story of all time, too. So, I mean, talk about a big influence of all this shit, right? Predictive programming, I just don't see how we continue to deny it. I really don't. And look at his name, H.G. Wells. Okay, H, well, for the atom bomb, for hydrogen, right? Ha ha ha, how funny is that? G, that could be the Masonic compass G. It could be for Gaia, could be for a whole lot of things, but that's a big letter. And then Wells, what's a well? A big old pit. So here we are trying to dig ourselves out all over again. Yeah? And this whole thing about nuclear weapons, whether or not they're real, I don't know. I tell you what, let me show you something real quick. And this is from what is air on one? It airs on Monday. So one of the Mondays in this month, January of 2017, at the end of the television show Gotham. So check this out real quick. No audio because I don't want copyright strikes. All right, so are nuclear weapons real? I don't know. But here's what I propose. Why don't we just sideline that argument of whether or not they're real or fake, and we just wait and see for ourselves? You know what I mean? I think it's what you just saw is going to happen real soon, and I think we probably have a max of 3 years to wait to find out. So why don't we just throttle back a little bit and wait and see when we experience it for ourselves? And here's the thing. Real or fake, it's part of the same joke that we're allowing to be played on ourselves over and over and over and over again. So it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. I've showed you this before. Robert Oppenheimer, right? The father, get it? Poke, poke, haha, the father of the atomic bomb. And when he was asked whether or not the atomic bomb was the first one detonated on Earth, he responded, well, yes, in modern times, of course. And everybody was like, well, what do you mean by that? Because he knows this is the same joke that's been played on us forever. And it's going to continue to be played on us until we finally wake up. And speaking of a joke that's long running, that's kind of losing its kick, at least in my perception, here's this show Incorporated, right? It's on Sci-Fi. I watched the first episode. I'm not really wild on it, but I did find the first episode very interesting. And this is how the show begins. The year is 2074. Climate change has ravaged the planet, causing widespread famine and bankrupting governments. In their place, multinational corporations have risen in power and now control 90% of the globe. These corporations fight a covert war for market share and dwindling natural resources. Those who work for them live protected behind the walls of the green zones. Those who don't are left to fend for themselves in the slums of the red zones. All this sounds, now it's not quite a one world government, it doesn't sound like, but we know the corporations are going to be a big part of it too. So this all sounds very prophetic to me, FEMA regions and all. And how I found out about this show is that I work with the guy and he told me about it. And he said what made him watch it is that it's got the guy from 24 in it. Not Kiefer Sutherland, but it's got one of the guys from 24 in it. And this guy that I work with was watching an interview with him. He's one of the big stars of it. And that guy said that that's what the future of America looks like. And America is overrun. It's just a bunch of refugees. That's what it is. And so he says that's a pretty accurate portrayal of what the future is going to look like. So whenever that guy at work told me that, I said, you know what, maybe I should check this out. And this, what I read you, does sound very, very plausible. But this is the best part. So remember, 2074, right? The year is 2074. So at the very beginning, after this plays, this guy is in his apartment, his house or whatever, and this comes up on the news. Breaking news, a bombing in Jakarta. And they blame it on the terrorists. So I just laugh and laugh and laugh. In 2074, the terrorists, are still out there bombing us, scaring the shit out of everybody. I mean, grow the cuss up. That is Bush League psych out stuff. That's laughable. Ha! Remember the Big Lebowski, don't matter to Jesus? Yeah, maybe not. Thanks to everybody for watching. Thanks to my subscribers.